biggest life transition I can think of, because there have been a lot, was when I went through my divorce, and I was pretty torn up, and it was really difficult, partly because I had to move, and just big changes in my life, and the thing, the things that got me through it, first of all, was friends. I had a lot of friends that just prayed for me. And that was huge. And I don't think anyone appreciates the power of someone praying for you until it's actually happening in your life. There were so many times that I was just in utter despair, or just like so stressed and lost, and I just I couldn't even figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to feed myself and my child? How am I going to get through the next day? And then all of a sudden I would just feel so calm and comforted, and it would just pop in my head, oh, well, here's the solution. And then I would find out that somebody was praying for me that evening. Like they said, I was just praying for you last night, and it was crazy how all of that kind of came together.
I think I'm in the biggest transition of my life right now. Definitely one of the biggest transition that I've ever been through. I just graduated from nursing school in May, and the dream was to graduate and then take the national exam, and then after that find a job and transition into adulthood, I guess. Um, and unfortunately, that hasn't gone the way that I planned. I took the test, and unfortunately, I failed. I also applied for jobs, and I didn't get called back for an interview. And it's been really discouraging, to be honest with you. A lot of my friends that I graduated with, they passed the test. They did get interviews, they got callbacks, and a lot of them have jobs now. So I kind of feel like I'm in this limbo land, and just in a tough spot. I would definitely call it a valley, just in my life right now.
Really hard life transition I went through was the transition from college to the real world. The economy crashed right when I graduated college, and everything I had worked for had suddenly dissolved in my hands. And it was really just trusting God to get through that part of my life. And just he took me around the world serving people, loving people, and has ultimately brought me to Forest Home, where I have just gotten to see what he does here. And it was really just trusting God that got me through that really, really hard part of my life.
I think probably the biggest transition I've been through is trying to get into nursing school. So it was a really long process, and I had a lot of bumps along the way, and nothing really went as planned, and it took forever. But I guess something that helped me get through it is just trusting in God and knowing that He has a plan, even when I can't see that working out and I can only see what's right in front of me, but just knowing that He can see the big picture, and just really trusting in Him, and having good friends and family to just really rely upon to I don't know, encourage me through and help me get through it. But yeah, so I mean, if it's something you really want to do, or it's something that you think is worth it, I would just say keep going for it and don't give up, and just really rely on God and know that your identity is found in Him and not in what you do or in how you perform. So yeah, I got in and it's great. So God is good.
I think that one of the biggest is kind of something that continues, and that is having a family. Before Amy and I got married, I think I was really selfish and thought a lot about just me, and made decisions that were going to be beneficial to me. And since Amy and I have been married and we've had Jane and Ethan, I've realized that selfishness is so sad and lonely, and I was scared. And so instead of putting others first, I put myself first. And God has been exceedingly and abundantly gracious to me as I've learned to put others first, and has also, in the meantime, given me a beautiful wife and two amazing kids. Miss you guys.
So because of that, I also realized that it was God that was getting me through this transition. And I actually came to a point very early on where I had to decide if I was going to really trust what I said I believed in, that I believed that God could take care of me, that God was big enough to handle this, and that God was going to get me through it. And I had to, did I really believe that that was the case? Or was I just saying those words? And this was my time, I realized, to just put that into action. And so I really had to put that faith into action and honestly say, okay, I'm going to trust you, God. And so I started praying a lot more and praying with that trust in mind. So it wasn't so much of give me this, give me that, I want this, fix it this way. It was more of, here it is, God. I have no solutions for this, but I know you're going to take care of it and get me through it somehow. And I just want to know what that looks like.
And honestly, this has been such a faith builder for me. I believe that this is the job that God called me to be in. And I believe that he's going to open the right door at the right time. And really, it's a matter of just trusting him and trusting God and holding on to his word. He says that he knows the plans that he has for us. And not just saying that, but truly believing it in your heart and expecting that. Expecting that I'm going to pass that test, expecting that employer is going to call me back. And I truly believe that. And I think I'm going to look back on this time and see that, man, that was a really tough time in my life. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I haven't had a job since, I think, February. And photography, if you do photography, it's not the greatest paying, but God has provided. God has provided for me. I've been extremely blessed by my parents and my family, and God supported me. Even in this time where I feel like I am in the valley and I'm climbing that mountain and trying to get to the top, God has definitely provided for me, and I just got to keep when you're in these tough periods of your life, in these transitional periods, you got to just buckle down. You got to keep climbing, and God's going to renew your strength each and every day. And pray for that. Pray that he renews your strength, because he really will, and he'll carry you through. He will.